swerving in a G-ride. Who bang, homie, clutching on the 4-5. Don't ever slip, cause you do, boy, that lead flies. Cause at the bottom we stay hunting in that moonlight. You hear the click, you hear the bang when we pass by. This ain't a game, fool, the riders really earn stripes. That's all the gang for forever on that main line. And it's a thin line, so homie better act right. We keep it active, really active up on this side. You hear the whistle as they're throwing up their gas signs. The crime rate in the hood always stays high. Banging for the bottle, ducha for the one time. We stay posted, drinking till the sunrise. We stay posted, drinking till the sunrise. Is that G life, swerving in a G ride. Who bang, homie, clutching on that 4-5. Don't ever slip, cause you do, boy, that lead flies. Cause at the bottom we stay hunting in that moonlight. You hear the click, you hear the bang when we pass by.
Don't forget to check out the merchandise on the website. My website where I have my gear, where you can get t-shirts, jerseys, masks, beer holders, license plates, some prison artwork, shoelaces, from a bunch of different stuff. I got them in all different colors, you know what I mean? From the hats, with the bandana presentation to it, from a bunch of different stuff, and at cheap prices. Obviously, coming from the streets, I already know the struggle is real, so I already know that the wallet is not deep for a lot of people, you know what I mean? So I always, I look out for the gente and try to hook them up always as much as possible, because I already know how it is, you know what I mean? And all the money that I do get, it always goes back into the channel to try to do, to bring in people for interviews, to better the recording equipment, and the music thing for me to help all these artists that are up and coming, all of that. I put it all back into the channel to elevate the channel. So that's what the money is used for. So I do appreciate you guys' support. Check out the merchandise. Like I said, check out the website. The link will be in the description. You just go on the website. You guys don't gotta worry. It's done through that website, so I don't get your personal information or nothing like that. And like I said, I would highly appreciate it. I got some pretty good, the shirt, the artwork design, and everything like that. And like I said, I appreciate you guys' support, because my channel ain't nothing without you guys. You guys are the ones.
What's good, G Life? And now we're gonna be continuing the countdown of varrios that are numbered in order. Now, I'm gonna have to go back because I had committed an error. Like I said, we all humans, homie. We make mistakes. I've completely forgot about the Sherman Varrio 27th. When we were in the 20s, because we ended in the 30s, we forgot about Varrio Sherman 27, because it is known as Varrio Sherman 27th Street. That is the name of the barrio, how they write it. It's the same neighborhood. And although I do realize that the Ghetto boys are also on 27th Street, that's just a clica. They write it sometimes like that, not all the time. Unlike Sherman, you see it under placazos, and sometimes you don't even see the Sherman part. Sometimes you just see the 27th. The 27th Street. And although people think that they're different hoods, they are not different hoods. It's the same barrio. Sherman 27th Street is how the barrio, writes it, how they refer to themselves. And obviously they're located right here in San Diego, in the area right here close to the Sherman Park. Is where you can find, in Sherman Heights, pues, you know what I mean? Is where you find the barrio Sherman. You know what I mean? They're pretty old school, well-known barrio within this area. You know what I'm saying? It has rappers that put it down for their barrio. You can scope out their music right here on YouTube. They have some solid tracks, and their barrio is pretty extensive. You know what I mean? From 13th Street all the way to to 27th, you know what I'm saying? It's a vast amount of territory that they run, and they continue to still represent theirs and hold it down for the Sherman 27th Streets. Now, another 27th barrio that I forgot to put in the last one, well, I didn't forget. It was mostly because it's a clica. It's not the actual name of the neighborhood, but it is written sometimes as 27th and referred to as 27th. But the actual name of the barrio is called Ghetto Boys. Ghetto Boys 27th Street. 27th is their spot. their domain right here in South Central in the low bottoms, where they get it on and cracking. It's average size neighborhood, well known. As a matter of fact, they even got some music right here on YouTube. You guys could peep it out. They get down. They have a few homies that rap out of this barrio. You know what I mean? So you guys could go scope out their music. And the Barrio Ghetto Boys is a well known neighborhood right here. Between the Adams and Main and 30th, and from 30th all the way to San Pedro Street. So everything that's in the middle is their barrio. So what's Trinity, what's 28th, what's 29th, 27th obviously being their main domain, their dojo, where it gets on and cracking right there on Maple, Avenue that stretches out throughout their barrio as well. The Ghetto Boys, it's definitely a neighborhood that you hear about, and they do real things, homie. These guys are not playing. They definitely be representing for theirs. They ain't no suckers. And that's what's up with the GBZ 27th Street. Still right here repping it and still maintaining for theirs. Now we could continue on to the list where we left off, the 30s. And for the 30s, we would actually have to still stay right here in San Diego, where we have one of these other barrios that's a 30th neighborhood, which is the barrio Logan Heights 30th. Now, I do realize that the barrio is called Logan Heights, 30 being a clica, but you know how there's several different cliques. They often get confused, and then you have the ones from the Valle and stuff like that. So, to differentiate them, they're the same barrio, but different cliques, different sides. And right here you have the barrio Logan 30th being right here located on 30th Street. You know what I mean? Logan is an old school barrio, large, you know what I mean, with vast amount of territory and clicas throughout this area of San Diego. So although people sometimes think of it as being different hoods, like Sherman, it is the same barrio. They just write it differently, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you do just see the 30th, like you see the 30 hit up and people think that it's a separate barrio. Same barrio, you know what I mean? It's just depending on how the guy that's hitting up the barrio, how he wants to write it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, they get pretty creative. They have the number pattern as well, and all that. So sometimes people see the barrio Logan Heights 30 and they be like, oh, so they're not Southsiders, they're not 1-3. They are 1-3. 30th is the clique. You get what I'm saying? But obviously, striking so many numbers, that's why sometimes it's just written as it is. But it's the same barrio, and they still be representing right there and holding it down for them, the Logan's 30ths. And next up in line, as far as I know, there's not 31s and there's no 32, but you do have a 33rd Street barrio. 33rd Street barrio is located right here in Los Angeles. Very small barrio that was within this area. You hardly see it. I was told that there roughly were only like about 15 to 17 vatos. Small clica, within this area, that were around in the 80s, that did their thing. But, as time going by and so many neighborhoods jam-packed right there, you already know how the story goes, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it was a real barrio, and, from time to time, you do bump into a homie from this barrio, so, it's the real deal, Holyfield, you know what I mean? Like I said, they still managed to leave their mark, right there, and still representing for theirs in the 33rd Street right there. Now, there's no 34 as far as I know. So the next one on the list is Barrio 35th Street. Barrio 35th Street is located right here in South Central. Obviously on 35th being their domain, their dojo right here in the heart of the danger zone where all the barrios and everything be, right here on and cracking. Now this is another barrio that was never a large clica, you know what I mean? I was told that there were roughly only like about the maximum was about 50 members to the Barrio 35th Street. But nonetheless, homie, they're still functioning because you still see the graffiti by these guys. You still hear about them. You know what I mean? Although I have seen that people try to say that they're no longer active and all that. Those are all lies. You know what I'm saying? This barrio is still functioning. They still have their members that are doing things. They still have youngsters. You know what I'm saying? So they're still right there representing for theirs. Like I said, they were just never a big neighborhood, and the territory right there is awfully small due to the fact that there's just so many neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Expansion is just a little bit more difficult, but nonetheless, they're still standing their ground. And although they may not be as large as their counterpart neighborhoods right there in the 30s, there's still one that is well respected and well known, representing out of the 35th Street right there. Another barrio that we have right here, continuing on the list, and we're still maintaining ourselves right here in the South Central area. Like I said, South Central is just an area that's just jam-packed full of a bunch of neighborhoods. And the next one on the list is the barrio 36th Street. 36th Street is located right here, obviously, in South Central on 36, being their domain, their dojo. That's where they get it on in Kraken. And 36th Street, unlike its counterparts around the area, this neighborhood's actually pretty big. You know what I mean? 36 is a barrio that did expand and, does have members to them. You know what I'm saying? There were another neighborhood right here within the 30th, just because there's so many barrios that are, the 30th, that sometimes people get them confused or often forgotten. But this is one of the barrios that's well respected, well known, well recognized. You know what I mean? They're very active, have always been active. As a matter of fact, they even have some artists. You can scope out their music right here on YouTube. As a matter of fact, on my channel, I have reacted to some of their music before. You know what I'm saying? They have talent in rapping, so you can scope out their music. And like I said, 36th Street is a barrio that you hear about. I know often people don't hear about like the 35ths or like the 33rds and the clicas like that. You know what I mean? But like I said, 36 is a neighborhood that makes noise where, people hear it. They hear about them. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no suckers. And their territory is pretty extensive because their territory, you could find them throughout 36, but Maple Avenue is their domain, their dojo, the heart of the hood. So everything that's from Main to Jefferson to San Pedro Street, San Pedro, their territory still extends. I would have to say all the way to Martin Luther King Boulevard. So everything that's in the middle is their barrio. So throughout 38, throughout Maple, throughout Woodlawn, throughout 37, throughout 35th as well right there, throughout Trinity, throughout Crawford Street, throughout all of that is considered, Wall Street. Throughout all of that, that's their barrio, that's their domain. But like I said, Maple's where it gets on and cracking. You know what I mean? Maple and 36. That's the danger zone. And they still be representing it and holding it down for theirs and putting theirs on the map. You feel me? Another 36 neighborhood that we have on the list, not for this one, we would have to be leaving the South Central portion and making our way down to Compton. Compton is another area where we could find a 36 barrio, which is the barrio Compton Barrio Largo 36. Compton Barrio Largo 36 is an old barrio right here in Compton. One of the original neighborhoods out of Compton, but not the oldest and nor the largest, because essentially in the beginning they were a part of the Compton Barrio 3 that broke off to, go do their own thing, solo bolo. You feel me? So they were a part of that neighborhood, at least that's what I was told. But it's an old neighborhood nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? It's already been right here for a cool minute. And their barrio is everything from El Segundo Boulevard all the way to Willembrook. Willembrook, their neighborhood still stretches all the way to Rosecrans. And then Rosecrans, I would have to say, all the way to Alameda Street. And from Alameda, I would have to say back to El Segundo Boulevard. So everything that's in the middle is their barrio. So what's throughout Mona Boulevard, 130th, 131st, 133rd, Oris, Mailey Street, all of that is considered their barrio. Pretty decent sized chunk of territory. And it's hectic right there, being in the battle zone where so many cribs and so many other neighborhoods around. It gets chaotic and hectic. You also got the Pyrus there. It'd be cracking right here in Compton, homie. You guys already be knowing. But the Compton Barrio Largo is a large neighborhood, old, and they have the manpower, to combat, whatever's thrown at them. And they still be right here representing for theirs and holding it down. Now, as far as I know, there's no 37th Street, so the next one up on the list is the Barrio 38th Street. Barrio 38th Street is one of, Los Angeles' most infamous gangs. Old, been around since the Zuzu riots, doing their thing. These guys were, pioneers when it comes to this Chicano gangbanging shit, especially known for the Sleepy Lagoon murder that put gangbanging, national headlines and all of that, you know what I mean? And this barrio is one of South Central's first neighborhoods as well. At one point, dominating a majority of South Central, but then with new gangs, sprouting up and stuff like that, makes it a little bit more difficult. Obviously, the 38th Street territory is very extensive, with even clicas branching off to different locations. And like I said, their barrios right there in the danger zone now. They're close to like a lot of where the Crips are, where the Bloods are at. So you already know, man, it be getting chaotic. But the 38th Street still maintaining right there in its original spot and still holding it down for the 38th Street gang. Another 38 neighborhood that you have within this area, now heading to San Diego, is the barrio Shelltown 38th Street. Shelltown 38th Street is another 38. I have already talked about them right here when I broke down the difference between both 38s, because both of these barrios are old school within themselves, you know what I mean? And this is a real barrio, even though it's Shelltown, the 38 is attached to it, 38th Street being the area in San Diego where they're located at, where they roam around, where they do their thing. You know what I'm saying? This is another one of these well-recognized barrios within San Diego, because you hear about Logan, Sherman, you hear about National City, you hear about Old Town San Diego, and you hear about barrio Shelltown. You know what I mean? These are just some of the more common names when people think about San Diego and the whole gangbanging thing. When it comes to Hispanics, these are the names that pop into mind. You know what I'm saying? So the Shelltown 38s, it has no connection to the ones in South Central, different barrios. You know what I mean? But hey, they still be right here representing for theirs and holding it down for the Shelltown 38th Streets. And next on the list, we have the barrio 39th Street. Barrio 39th Street is also located right here in South Central. Like I said, when I mean that, and yes, these barrios are all literally like connected to each other. Like they're literally back to back barrios connected to each other. Like I said, it's hectic, bro. I never got to front it. It really be going down right here. They're all literally, just right there, connected to each other. The barrio 39th Street is a neighborhood that's roughly a little bit more smaller than its counterparts. It's not as big as 38. It's not as big as 36. But it's the next one in line when we're talking about the 30s in large. You know what I mean? And their territory is everything that's where it's Hope Street or Grand Avenue or Hill Street or Broadway. Broadway. South Broadway and Broadway Place, that extends to their hood. Obviously on 39th being their main domain, their dojo. But you could also find them on 38th, 37th, and all of that. You know what I mean? This is the area, not that big of chunk of territory, but nonetheless, that's their area where they do their thing, and where you can still find them functioning and holding it down for theirs and representing for the 39th Street. These guys ain't no chumps. Even though they're not as large as the counterparts, they still hold it down.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like and subscribe.